Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am live in Getting Started in Crypto on YouTube, on X, and on Instagram and LinkedIn. So if you're on any of these places, hi, welcome. We're about to start and have a look at what crypto's been doing this week. But first, we're going to start with our exciting Black Friday, well, Cyber Monday sale now. So, and if you join over this period, you have the chance to win one of 3 TradingView annual subscriptions. So TradingView have been really awesome and have given us 3 subscriptions. So they are going to 3 lucky subscribers that have been with us for the month of November and up until end of Cyber Monday. So check out all the discounts. They are huge. So and get subscribing, because this last month has been probably one of our most massive months, where all of our top targets reached 1,194%. So massive. And if you're a TTM fan, we got 9 signals of 3% or more, which had a massive boost to those people doing TTM, which is thousandtomillions.com. So let's get straight into it. Now, I'm going to start not with Bitcoin this time. I'm going to start with XRP. So because XRP is on everyone's lips at the moment. I'm seeing it all over Twitter. You know, all the people that have held since way before it got to $3.30. And it seems that we may break the all-time high, which is a bit exciting. So way back in December 2017, we got to a grand old high of $3.30. And then, obviously last bull run, we didn't do too great. And but could that be that this was just the wave 1 and we're now in the wave 3 for XRP? And so let's have a look. Let's pull up this chart. I'm going to just, because we've had so much sideways on XRP, I'm going to go up to a 3-day chart so we can get a better view of what this is doing. Now, we don't have all of the data on this chart due to this being Binance, and not everything was listed. Stuff got relisted. So it's just a matter of we're working with the available data. So this was our wave 1 high. So if we look at that and we go back to CoinMarketCap and we go, okay, this is our wave 1 high for this next wave pattern. We can then get some projections for these targets. So once we've got a wave 1, it's very, very simple with Lisabot.trade, which you can learn all about in my book, Become a Millionaire in 1 Year. And yeah, so that's our 236 is where we take from our wave 1. So if we're looking at this as a structure of going up for a 3rd wave, we're potentially, so there was a lady on Twitter quite a few years ago that said we were going to $589. It's very possible that we go to $5.89. So that was her original intended tweet, and she missed the decimal point. So if we take this, our next target on this wave pattern, we're on a fib level at the moment, but our next level is at 3.18. So if we take this individual wave and we look at that, and we can get some internal wave targets too for those that want a short and long. So right now we're on the 786, and we can see that this next level of Fibonacci targets match. So we've got a 1-to-1 on that target, and that matches with our 618. So that's at that 3.19 mark. So that's probably going to be quite a strong resistance at that position. And we can see that right at the present moment, we are at the resistance of this trombone pattern. So that just means it's an expanding wedge. So this is kind of what Bitcoin had, what Ethereum's had, what Solana had. And it's literally the point where it builds a consolidation, either has a larger pullback or it breaks through. So if we go back to our Bitcoin chart, we'll go back to the BLX. We can see that Bitcoin just recently broke through. Similar pattern. That's the two highs and then the last all-time high, which is broken through and retested. So if we go back to XRP, we've got the similar pattern. So we should get a bit of consolidation for XRP and then a breakout. So looking possible that we're going to $5. So 5 cents. You guys would be snapping it up. Yeah, so it's looking really good. So a bit of consolidation on the way, and then we should get a larger pump coming through. So XRP looking really, really nice at the moment. So, okay, let's check out BTC because, obviously we want to have a look at what that's doing, because that's going to, whether we're getting larger pullbacks on BTC or we're just going to go sideways, we're going to understand sort of what alts are doing, whether we're pulling back or not, and, the movements and that sort of stuff. So let's jump in. I'm doing all the cameras and everything myself, so just bear with me. That's a tiny chart. We want a big chart. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go into the BLX and have a look at this one. This is my quantitative chart. So if you watch me every week, I go on and on and on about this chart. At the moment, we have formed a very nice doji. This is a fourth wave, internal fourth wave. So this is our wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should come up for a 1 at about that 126. I explained that all last week. It does look like this is going to go sideways for a little bit longer. So if we go back down to these lower time frames, we do have that doji sitting there. Now, predominantly that pattern pulls back. So if we go back through here and we have a look, we can see we've got one here. We've got another one here, green one here, but it's still pulled back. Going back, we've got another one here, small one, sideways and back. This one had a small pullback and then up. So depending on where it is in the pattern, it's a wave 4, it's going to pull back, it's going to go sideways, and whether that's an A, B, C, or it's like forming a triangle at the moment. So if we're forming a triangle, we're going to get an A down to here, a B, a C, a D, and an E. So a little bit of sideways consolidation may end at the C. You always buy the C because you're not confirmed if you'll get the D and the E, especially in a bullish momentum pattern like we're seeing everywhere at the moment. So yeah, always buy the C and continue that way. But looks like we'll possibly get that triangle pattern happening at the moment. If we get that larger pullback, it should hold like those sort of 85 to 90 regions. So if we take that as an internal wave, we're just measuring the one wave because this is an internal wave. We don't want to measure the whole structure. We can see that we're at the 236. Now that's a really, really bullish structure. If it holds the 236 in a bullish momentum, it'll either hold the 236 or the 382, occasionally the 0.5, but majority of the time it holds much higher and then it takes off much quicker because everyone's trying to buy it. MicroStrategy are trying to buy it. All the exchanges are trying to buy it. Everyone wants Bitcoin at the moment. All governments are trying to buy it. So yeah, Bitcoin is definitely a buy the dip sort of scenario at the moment. When we have a look at the Bitcoin dominance, we can see that we do have alts running because they are broken down. So dominance, when dominance pulls back, it means there's more money flow going into alts, into Ethereum, into other things. So I put up on Twitter or on X the other day that, we go through phases in the market. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, alts, we go through those large cap alts, we go through meme coins. It's sort of a cycle that we go through. So obviously before Bitcoin, we had the meme coins all pumping and that money flows and flows and flows. And that's the thing. People take profits, they move to the next one, and that's how you're going to get the most money. But if you're a novice trader, just hold and buy some dips and your dollar cost average as we go. So if we go the DXY, it hasn't kind of mattered recently, which has been nice because we've had so much bullish momentum everywhere. And we've had this bit of a bounce. So that this current bounce is having a little bit of effect on BTC at the moment where it is pulling back. But when we go to the pattern, I'm going to just pull out of this chart and bring up this chart. We can see that we've got two patterns. This is the Y wave, goes down to 87,500. That's our worst case scenario. If we're really super bullish at this point, we are sitting at 93,400, and that's going to be our next low, and that's going to be part of that ABC or that ABCDE. So just be aware of that. So lowest could be about, 87.5, 86 maybe if we get a wick. So it's looking really good. The total crypto market cap looking absolutely awesome. So we're coming up, we've had a pullback for that fourth wave and continued up. Now, a lot of these patterns are tightening in this region, which means that could be potentially an ending diagonal or a leading diagonal. So we just need to watch those patterns as to what they do. So if we get 5 very tight waves in this region, that could be an ending diagonal, and they pull back to where they began. So that it would have begun, I'm going to put some glasses on for this. It began at 3.03 trillion. So that would be our pullback region if we do get a pullback in this area. And then we should take off again from there. So yeah, looking really, really good. So just seeing, I've got Shauno, always stoked to catch the weekly wrap up. I have JT, who is probably not, should be here, but he's not. And he's in England with Wi-Fi issues. Sadie, hello. And Liz, hello. And KJ, hello. And Neo Drive, hello. So hi to everyone that I can see in my StreamYard down there. Now, PopCat that we mentioned last week, ugly. So I still do think this is going to be a good mover. It's just not moving at the moment. We're correcting. So we can see that we're coming down to that support that I did mention. So that was at 1.17 to 1.19. That's where I'm going to start buying for PopCat. We're almost there. So that's looking really good. And let's jump into Ethereum, because Ethereum has had a really nice pump this week. And we have got either that leading or that ending diagonal happening with Ethereum as well. So if we take this as our wave one, and we're in this randomly ugly, weird structure. So if for those that have watched me for quite a long time, Ethereum, when it looks ugly, it goes up. Sorry, it looks really ugly. So it's probably going to go up. At the moment, we've got a cross support at around 300. Wouldn't that be nice, Ethereum? 3,650. So if you can pick up some Ethereum around that level, I think that's probably a good buy. Breaking down from there, like if we, Bitcoin decides it gets a bigger pullback, we could be going right down to about 3.3 for Ethereum. I don't think so, but better to be safe than sorry. I think we're going to hold those levels. December is looking like there's quite a big money flow coming in, and we've got a lot of futures releasing. Now, futures used to be what drove the market. So they are essentially where people lock their money up and they go, I bet that Bitcoin, if I enter a short on Bitcoin at 60,000, it's going to become 50,000, and I'm going to take that profit in a week's time, 2 weeks' time, a month's time, 3 months' time, 6 months' time, or 12 months' time. There's a whole heap of different contracts that you get. Now the annual one is coming up at the end of this year, and that one is the biggest one we are going to see this year, and the biggest one we've seen for quite some time. So it is massive, like in the billions. Now, if we're going back and we look at, you know, a lot of people that enter this go, okay, we're going down forever. The narrative a year ago was really super bearish. So that does likely mean that a lot of those, you know, will be sort of shorts releasing long. They release the opposite way. So if there's a lot of longs, they release short into market and they will go down. If there's a lot of shorts, they release long into the market and we go up. So, but it's about going back to those time frames and going, okay, what were we at that point in the market? And yeah, so and how is that going to affect the market when they release? So yeah, I've got a question. When roughly in this cycle is this cycle finished, and what point of the cycle are we at? Okay, so for NeoDrive, I'm going to go back here. This is my quantitative chart. So this is the 4-year cycle. So we get every year, every cycle for Bitcoin, we have a halving, we get a high, we get a bottom, we get, so when we have the halving, we're going into easing. When we get to the top, we're going into tightening. And that's kind of how it begins. It works with traditional markets as well, governments, where they're buying and selling bonds, they're trading, you know, tariffs, everything like that, all go into it. So at the moment, crypto is seen as the ultimate thing for, you know, governments and that sort of thing to be in this next sort of, you know, race where we've got virtual currencies. We saw Donald Trump yesterday, like saying that, you know, they're going to put 100% tariffs for all the BRIC countries, thinking that the BRICS countries need USA stuff, but maybe they do, maybe they don't. You know, Putin has been stocking up the BTC. China lifted the bans. They've been stocking up the BTC. So they're all way ahead of the US. So the US has only probably got a small amount, and with Trump, they're starting to buy. So that's going to continue to push this up. MicroStrategy and those, you know, BlackRocks and everything are continuing to buy. So it's looking really, really good. You don't want to be selling. So when we're looking at that 4-year cycle, we can see that, you know, this was the top of our last cycle, and then our quantitative tightening began. So we came back down to this range in the 4-year bottom, and we had that Black Swan event, which this time just happened to be FTX. Now, if you were in getting started in crypto, we knew about that 2 or 3 days before it happened, and a message went out to get their money out of there. We also told everyone about Luna, and we had a trade that sold the high. So that was pretty exciting. So there's a whole heap of things that we keep our ear to the ground that we need to know when we're going to these parts of the market, especially when we're going into tightening. We know that we're getting a period from, so this is from November, this high, right down 12 months later to the bottom. So, and we can sort of gauge through the cycle how long that will be, how long it'll be in like a bearish cycle, how long it'll be in a bullish cycle. We don't know whether it will be in accumulation in these regions for how long. So we see that, you know, we've got an accumulation period in this last cycle where it went from March 2020 to August 2020. And, you know, that was our accumulation period. In this previous one from 2018, we had an accumulation period where we went from November through to April. So, you know, that's kind of our accumulation period, and we get that every time. So at our bottom here, and where people were still screaming that we were going to 10K, you can see that we're on the parabola. So when we have that parabolic curve, we have to respect that this is coming close to the bottom as well. So, and we can see that that came all the way through. So, and that has come down and respected that and touched it. So I would anticipate that around this point, once we've got some highs up here, we're going to come back down and retest this region before going up. Now, as you saw last week, I've got sort of like, targets one at a time. I'm not putting out $1 million or anything like that at the moment, because it is going to be literally one step at a time as we understand where the market's going this cycle. So we're in a wave 3 of a super cycle. So this is a super cycle pattern. That just means that it's got larger movements, more money flow coming in, more people know about Bitcoin, and so on and so forth. So that's how that works. So if we're looking at where we are in the market, we're really at the beginning. So we haven't even reached our wave 1 yet. So that's still happening. If this was our wave 4, we're now in our wave 5, and we'll come back down at, probably in January or February to have that correction before taking off. So we do that in a lot of these scenarios. You can see that this one went through to April, and then we came back for that very quick pullback before taking off the final all-time high. So because this is the third wave, so wave 1 and wave 3 kind of alternate in size majority of the time. Occasionally wave 5 is the longest, but for wave 3, it can't be the shortest. So that's the rule for Elliott wave. And it's looking like this is if this is our overall wave 1, then we're in this wave 3. And yeah, so this is where we get these huge projections, and they go right up here. But at the moment, we're in this section, and we'll get. So how this will work, we'll probably have a top somewhere between, I would say, September to November next year. We'll have a blow off top, probably somewhere throughout sort of May or June, and then a pullback and a continuation. So that's kind of where we're at. We've still got about another year left of this bull market. It doesn't always just go up. If you lived through the 2017 one, it just went up. So it felt like it just went up for years. It's like, so right back here, we had the halving, and we were looking at, $200, $300. I think in 2013, it got to about $1,000, and that was so exciting. And then Mt. Gox happened and everything like that. And that's BitMEX actually, I think, opened at that time as well. So there was, that's when margin trading came into the market, and, things started to really pick up. Margin trading is where the gamblers love to be, and that's where all the money kind of enters. So if we're looking at this, so long answer to that short question, but we're about a year of bull market left, which is really exciting. So XRP doesn't get resistance like that. Not all. So you might need to just go through all the charts. So that XRP chart is on Binance. So some of them may or may not have all of the data. This doesn't have all the data. So if we go to CoinMarketCap, we can see that, we've got all of the data from inception of XRP to right through to now. Just go to all, and you can see that in, 2018, we got to a top of $3.30. It just kept going. So you can imagine, you've bought this token down at 4 zeros or something, and it just kept going. But a lot of the people that did get into XRP has this weird cult-like sort of feeling to it, where people just hold it. And please everyone, this cycle, take some profit, go and spend some money, do something for yourself, go on a holiday, buy a car. It's make some money and take some profit. Yeah, so there we go. That's essentially, the wrap up. I'm not going to look at so many alts at the moment. They're all really overbought, and they do need a pullback. And I do think we're going to get small ones. Start of the month, we're here now. Usually we get some sort of pullback. Hasn't happened as yet, but might do. And that's just kind of, understanding where the market is going and kind of what it is doing throughout, and just pullbacks are for buying the dips, literally. So yeah, thank you for joining me, everyone. And I will catch everyone on all of these social media platforms. I'm all over them. And of course, if you do want to jump onto our Cyber Monday sales, they are on at the moment, and limited places left. I think we've got 2 places left here on the monthly signals, but at these prices, they're up to 70% off. So you want to get in quickly, maybe even buy an annual, because this is the year to be trading, to be knowing what you need to be buying, and to making some money, and then at the end of it, popping the champagne and going on a holiday. So thank you all for joining me, and I will catch you next week.